Simon Cheng is the founder of Hongkongers in Britain, and he joins us now live from London. Thank you so much for being on the program with us. Now, John Lee was the only candidate in these elections, and looking at the events that have transpired, do you think that this is effectively the end of the one country, two system principle?
Yes, I agree. That is the end of the one country, two systems. We actually can say how charm of this so-called democracy is. Amongst 1,500 members of so-called election committee, they so-called represent all walks of life of the Hong Kong people. But actually, that committee is stocked with all pro-Beijing loyalists, and almost 99% of those 1,416 voted for John Lee, only 8 votes against John Lee, and 13 free votes did not vote or actually abstained their rights. So we actually can say, that's the meaning of so-called Chinese-style democracy. We also can see some, media that they claim how high turnout rates and how high that the approval rates have been cast for this new anointed leaders of Hong Kong.
And looking back at Carrie Lam's 5-year term, it was marked by huge pro-democracy protests over the increasing influence of Beijing in Hong Kong affairs. Given the fact that John Lee was the hardline security chief who oversaw the crackdown, given that he's in charge now, are we more likely to see these pro-democracy protests?
It's less and less likely that we will see the pro-democracy protests would happen in Hong Kong in the future, because John Lee, as lots of people would clearly know, he was a police officer, and that's exactly why the top Chinese leadership anointed him as the top leaders of Hong Kong. And it gave a very clear signal and message to the world that they will make no compromise, no negotiation about any step for democracy value. And that's kind of things that we need to bear in mind. So that's why I'm now in exile in here, and we need to fight to rebuild democracy internationally.
All right, founder of Hongkongers in Britain, Simon Cheng, it was a pleasure speaking to you here on the NewsHour.